Hello and welcome. This is a course on conditionals, right? We are going to look at the 0, first, second and third conditionals. Okay, our goal for today is to go through all of these conditionals in the course and to be able to use them. This is the most important part. I will show you the form, the grammar form, the structure, how to do it, and then I'm going to give you examples to show you how to use it in real life, in conversations, because a lot of my students find with conditionals that is the hardest part. So I will give you tips, I will give you examples, and we can talk briefly about situations where you would actually use conditionals in your everyday conversations. So in this section now, we're going to look at the 0 conditional. Okay, the numbering system is strange, but we start at 0 with conditionals. Alright, the structure of this one is quite simple. Okay, as you can see there, we have two parts of a clause with conditionals. Okay, first part and the tense, the second part and the tense. Okay, so with your 0 conditional, we have if and present situation, and in the second part of our clause, we again have present. Okay, so we keep our tenses right. 0 conditional, if, present, first part of the clause, present again in the second part of the clause. Right, so when we're talking with the 0 conditional, we are going to use it, as you see there, when we talk about statements, okay, routines, habits, something that happens all the time, something we do all the time. Okay, so I have there 3 examples. If we have a look at the first example, okay, you will see if you press the power button, the computer turns on. This is a statement. This is what happens all the time. Okay, if you press the power button, the first part of our clause, present tense, the computer turns on. Second part of our clause, present tense. In our second example, if you wash a red item with your white clothes, everything turns pink. This is also a statement. I have done this before, a few times. I didn't learn the first time. So, again, if we look at our clause, if you wash a red item with your white clothes, present. Everything turns pink, present again. Okay, let's have a look at the third example here. We have, if you apply this formula in Excel, it gives you the total. This is what it does. It's a statement. It will happen all the time. Okay, if you apply this formula in Excel, present, first part of the clause, it gives you the total, present, second part of the clause. Right. So from these examples, what we can see here, your 0 conditional, okay, present in the first part of the clause, present again in the second part of the clause. Okay. Statements, routines, habits, it happens all the time. Okay. And we have our 3 examples there, which show you quite clearly how it's used. Right. Let's move on to our next conditional. Right, we're going to have a look at the first conditional now. Okay, as you will see again there, I have written in the first place the grammar form. Right, so what we do with the first conditional are 2 clauses again, if, present, okay, and the second clause is now slightly different. Okay, you will see we're going to use the future tense, will. Okay, so in our first conditional, I've made a note here, the only conditional that is a condition, really, okay, something that we use more often in a corporate environment, okay. So if you think of, if you are in logistics, in marketing, in sales, okay, anything like that, you have a condition. You won't supply something unless a condition is met, all right. So I won't deliver the apples that you have ordered if you haven't paid. So we need to have a look at this. Yeah, this is my condition. Alright, so if we go back to our grammar form here and look at the first conditional. Okay, so if you pay the order online, I will courier the apples. Okay, so there's our form. Alright, so the first part of our clause, present. If you pay the courier, if you pay online, I will send the delivery with the courier. The second part of the clause, future. Okay, let's look at a few more examples. So if you pay online, I will deliver the apples. It's a condition. First part of the clause, present. Second part of the clause, future tense, using will. The second example there, if you want to purchase this product, you will need to pay up front. Okay. So again, our two clauses, the first part, present, if you want to purchase this product, and our second clause, you will need to pay up front. This is my condition. To pay up front, a side note, to pay before. Okay. The third example I have there, if I want to get better, I will need to complete my course of antibiotics. Okay. So if I want to get better, present. Future, I will need to complete my course of antibiotics. Okay. So this is our first conditional. Alright. We have the grammar structure there. First part of the clause, present. Second part of the clause, future, using will. This is a condition. I won't do this, you don't do that. Okay. As I say, often used in a corporate business environment, because of a lot of things that we do with business, means that terms need to be met. Conditions need to be met. And this is why the first conditional will be very often used in a business situation. Right, we're going to move on to the second conditional now. Okay, so you will see there, let's start with our grammar form again. We have two clauses. The first part, if, past tense. And in the second part of the clause, we're going to use would. Okay, this makes our structure very simple. So, if, past, in the first part of the clause, and the second part of your clause, use would. Let's look at how we normally use second conditionals. Okay. The most common use is advice. Alright. We've all heard, if I were you, if I was you. Both can be used, both are correct. Okay. I am used to, if I were you. But if I was you is also correct. Okay. Then we have these untrue, unlikely situations as well. Unfortunately. If I won the lottery. Okay. Or if I was Superwoman. If I was Batman. Okay. So, unlikely situations, I'm probably not going to become Superwoman. Unlikely, I'm probably not going to win the lottery either. Okay. So with our second conditional now, going back to our grammar form, if, past, in the first part of the clause, and would in the second part of the clause. You'll see on my notes there, we can change would, we could use could. We could also use might. Okay, slightly different meaning. If we go back to our modal verbs and remember it, it gives it a different probability. I would do it, could do it, I'm able. I might do it, I'm still thinking about it. Okay. So let's look at our examples now. Alright, the first one we have there. Okay, if I won, past, if I won the lottery, I would travel to Italy. I've always wanted to go there. So if I won the lottery, I would travel to Italy. This is what I would do. Okay. Our second example. If I was Superwoman, I would travel all over the world. Our third example, the classic advice. Okay, if I were you, I would do more research before making a decision. If I was you, I would do more research before making a decision. Yeah. So when we're making sentences with our conditionals, the first very important bit is our grammar form. Yes. Okay. Once you get the form right, the sentences become easier. Okay. And as we've looked at now with our conditionals, we've looked at how to use them briefly in each example. We'll go into some more examples as well. Okay. With the second conditional here, remember we could also say if I won the lottery, I could travel to Italy. I could travel to Spain. It's also possible. If I was Superwoman, I would travel all over the world. I might travel all over the world. And if I were you, I would do more research. I might do more research. I could do more research to make a better decision. Right, we're going to continue now with the third conditional. Okay. I think this one is an easier one because it's just about the form, the grammar. And the grammar naturally makes it into regret. Okay? Something in the past, something we can't change. So let's start by looking at the grammar form. Alright? You will see there we have again our two clauses. Okay. The first part of the third conditional, if past perfect. Okay? Second part of our clause, we're going to use would have. Okay? Or in my examples, wouldn't have. Can be negative, yeah. Okay. So first part of the clause, past perfect. So you're going to need a past participle in your sentence. Okay. If I had known, if I had driven, if I had flown, if I had grown, if I had bought. Okay. And then the second part of your clause, would have. Okay. So the third conditional, as we said, is regret. It can't be changed. It's in the past. Okay. So with the third conditional, our grammar structure is going to give us regret. Okay. Let's have a look at our examples. First one that I have there. Okay. I don't like chilies. So, if I had known it was a chili, I wouldn't have eaten it. If, past perfect, with my past participle, known, if I had known it was a chili, I wouldn't have eaten it. Gives me regret. It's in the past, I can't change it. Okay. So, but I didn't know, I ate it. Let's have a look at the second example. So, if I had driven my car more often, the battery wouldn't have gone flat. Okay. Battery with no power is a flat battery. So if I had driven, past perfect, with my past participle, okay, the battery wouldn't have gone flat. Let's look at the third example. So if I had done that course, I would have impressed my colleagues. Okay. Had done, past perfect, past participle done. I would have impressed my colleagues. Alright. So the structure naturally with the third conditional gives us regret when you get it right. Okay. When are you going to use it in conversation? When you regret something. Okay. When you wish you could change something, but you can't. Let's have a look at some examples here. Okay. Work with me. I'd like you to identify the conditional. Okay. The first one. If I study, I will pass the exam. Okay. First conditional. Because if I study, present. Second part of the clause, will, future. First conditional. It's a condition. If I study, I will pass. Let's look at the second example. If I studied, I would pass the exam. Second conditional. If I studied, I would pass the exam. Second conditional, we can see the structure, past, and the use of would. Okay. It's not advice. It's not even unlikely. It's sort of a recommendation to yourself. If I studied, I would pass the exam. So, yeah, it's closer to advice. This is where conditionals do become a little bit tricky. Right. We look at the third example. Right. Identify the conditional. If I had studied, I would have passed the exam. Okay. If I had studied, past perfect, third conditional. Would have, third conditional. And if I had studied, I would have passed the exam. It's regret. I didn't study. I didn't pass. I've made a note of 0 at the bottom there. 0 conditional. Why didn't I make one with 0 conditional? I could. If I study, I pass the exam. It could be true of me, yes. I can use it if it's a statement, a routine, a habit, something that happens all the time. Not always true for people. Sometimes we study and we still fail. But it can be used as well. What I'd like you to do is take a similar structure to your sentence. I can give you an example. Start with, if I eat eggs. Use that and try and make sentences with each of them. First, second, third, and do 0 too. Okay. So, if I eat eggs, that will be your first clause. Let's choose another example. Let's say, if I buy this car. Okay, the first part of your clause. Now, I want you to make sentences with that. Pause the course here, make some sentences with that, and practice with your structure. Okay. So, 0, first, second, third conditional. Right, so let's summarize what we have learned today. Okay, we have gone through the 4 conditionals. 0 conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. Okay, we have learned the grammar forms for each one. Alright, 0 conditional, if, present, present. First conditional, if, present, future, with will. Second conditional, if, past, the second part of our clause, would. And the third conditional, if, past perfect, with past participle, and would have. Okay. Keep to that grammar form until you feel confident with them. Okay. That is the first step in the process. Secondly, now, when do we use them? Okay, we looked at that too. 0 conditional. Okay, it's a statement, it's a habit, it's a routine, it happens all the time. Okay, so we can talk about it if we're talking about the process of how something works. We're describing to someone how to use a program, how to use a tool, okay, how to make a cake. Alright. Our first conditional is a condition. Okay. Very often used in business, negotiations, bargaining. Alright? Right? Something must happen, and then I will do that. Okay. So, agreements, contracts, negotiations, decisions. A condition. The first conditional. Right. The second conditional. Okay. Most often used for advice. If I were you, if I was you. Remember, Both are correct. Okay. Also used if you are having a conversation with your friends or work colleagues, imagining that you're Batman. Imagining you won the lottery. Okay. And then our third conditional. Alright? Regret. Right. Something that happened in the past, we can't change it. Regret. Okay. So if you are talking about a situation and you're thinking, oh, I wish that hadn't happened, no. Third conditional. Okay. Thank you very much for your time today. I've enjoyed going through the conditionals with you. Follow me to see when I add new courses. Alright. I enjoy grammar. I like explaining it. Okay. And I'm sure you will understand it better when you listen to me. So I look forward to seeing you in another course soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for participating in this course so far. What we're going to do next is introduce some vocabulary and comprehension practice. I'm going to read something to you, and I want you to listen carefully to the grammar structure, the words that I use, and see if you can identify some of the grammar sentences, conditionals and others. Okay. So listen carefully. There will be some tasks for you to do at the end. If you want to continue learning conditionals, then read this article. Student, which conditional have I used in this statement? You are correct if you say the zero conditional. There are two reasons for this. The first reason is because I have used present tense in the two clauses. Can you guess the second reason? The second reason is that I've made a statement. It sounds almost like a question, but reads like an imperative. The conditional is saying that this is a routine event that happens. Can you see how conditionals can be used? In my opinion, and many other teachers' opinions too, grammar is very important if you want to express yourself correctly. It's vitally important that we're able to express ourselves clearly, particularly in a business environment. Imagine if you are wanting to explain procedures or processes at work. However, you don't have the correct vocabulary or grammar structure to do it. It can be embarrassing, but it can also be dangerous. Depending on the field or industry that you work in, it is critical that people understand what you are saying. Even in everyday situations, we want to be able to express ourselves well. I believe that languages and cultures are amazing. The more you learn, the more you want to learn. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? If you had more money than you need, what would you buy? If you had the opportunity to visit a place just once in your lifetime, where would you choose to go? Learning a language always makes you want to experience more about a place. Learning about a culture makes you want to learn the language. If only it was that easy. But it doesn't have to be so hard, does it? Due to the incredible technological advances in the world today, we are able to virtually visit places anywhere in the world. We can visit famous museums and archaeological sites on the internet. It's amazing, isn't it? And using the same technology, we can learn a language. These days, we are constantly exposed to different languages. We hear them on the news, on YouTube, even on our favorite TV series that we love to binge watch when nobody is looking. If you have no plans, you can watch all weekend. This gives us awesome opportunities to learn at the same time. You are learning without even realizing it. If the internet hadn't been invented, we wouldn't have all these wonderful opportunities and experiences. So take the bit in your teeth, run like the wind, and experience life to the fullest. Student, can you identify all the different sentence structures that I have used? I've been very creative and wrote using conditionals, tag questions, present simple, and more conditionals. Do you notice how I've also varied the length of the sentences that I've used? Writing And speaking should be like music. There should be a rhythm to what you write. You want to keep the reader's attention, so you need to change things up a bit. Well, it's been a wonderful time that we have spent together. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you have enjoyed the course. Please remember to follow me. I will be uploading many more courses in the future. I have a wealth of information, okay, and I would like to put all of that onto courses so that you can follow me and you can improve your English. Okay, the courses will be grammar as well as business English. Okay, so I hope that you've enjoyed this. I would appreciate any feedback that you have, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you have any suggestions of courses that you would like to see in the future, you're welcome to send me a message. Okay, I will be thrilled to read anything that you have to say. And if I can add something for you specifically, that will be great. Okay, so thank you very much. Enjoy your day.